All right, welcome back. So today what I want to touch on is stacking and stacking around corners. But before we get into that, there is a pressing matter I think I should discuss with all of you. Apparently, according to YouTube, a lot of you are returning viewers that watch my content but haven't subscribed. Now, I don't want to be the one to tell you what to do with your life, but I am going to be the one to encourage you to maybe considering, hitting that subscribe button. It helps me out. And if you're already watching the content, there's no big deal. So we'll give you a moment right now to decide on whether you want to subscribe or not. Did you subscribe? Well, if you did, I appreciate it. If you didn't, well, enjoy the video anyways, I guess. But we'll get into this right now. So the reason I have all three layers, rather than making a box with the fence foundations and then filling it in, the reason is there will be a bit of a gap, and that gap will cause, it causes a conflict with it. So what I always like to do is I like to bring out the fence foundations, and then I like to fill it in like you're seeing on screen right now. It just makes the process it's just easier because once you stack with those three layers, you cannot get those fence foundations I just placed. So we want to do that first. Now, as you'll see right here, it's snapping to where it would originally snap if you were just boxing it in naturally, but since we stacked every foundation out with that method in that video, you will see that it allows us to place the two in the middle. And this gap right here at the corner is easily fixed because we did the stacking. And you'll see it's easily repaired. I pick up both of these I didn't need to pick up the second one, but I did anyways. But as we fill this in, you'll notice that you'll see the conflict with the fence foundation if you were just placing them naturally like a box. You're just going to run into problems. So, as you can see, it's not going to let me place that naturally because it's too close to that one fence foundation. But since we brought the stacking out, we can easily fill it in, and then we can pick up this corner right here and fill it in. And it protects everything that way, and it's not the best once you pop a wall, or a fence foundation, I should say, because it's not a wall, but I consider them walls. You can then fill this back in with whichever side you want. It doesn't matter. Pick and choose. You can do that one or that one. Okay. Right here we got our three foundations again, just like you saw before. I'm just repeating the process so you guys can see how I'm doing this. You're always going to want to fill this in like I'm doing on screen right now before you actually bring that stacking through those fence foundations. If you don't care about that middle wall, which you don't necessarily need it, you don't have to do that middle foundation like I'm doing now. I've always done it. It's just kind of ingrained in me to do. I don't know. I would suggest doing it. It will give you a little bit of extra protection from the sides. So it's up to you though. You don't have to go that and do that. You could just start stacking it and then worry about the corners being as protected as possible. And if you're ever running into issues like you saw, just, if it's trying to snap to the previous stacking inside the building, just, do what I did. It'll help. But you shouldn't run into too many issues. I think the reason it's conflicting on this side is because that stacking to the left is the original stacking method I used, because I combined with the base, the fence stacking, the gates. The gate stacking, and then the other side is the new stacking. Of course, you can use whichever one you want. The gate frame stacking, which I have discussed in the previous video, is very simple to do, and you can continue replicating it easily without having to do much work. So right now on screen, I just wanted to show you the comparison. The most recent stacking is, you can obviously tell which one you would want to go with. About two and a half foundations, you're going to be getting 8 layers, versus if you used gates, while the gates are easier to continue on, and there's minimal effort in it, and there's quite a bit more effort when you are going to use the stacking method that's going to give you the best protection. But I mean, you know, a little extra work for that, considering that's 8 foundations out, and that would be 8 layers just like that. The amount of stacking you can get into a smaller base, it's nice. And it yes, your base will look bigger, but on the inside you can have a compact base with good stacking. I will discuss this. Another thing I like to do, if I say I don't want to stack a lot, you know, maybe I just want 1 layer of stacking, so I have 4 fence foundations of protection. I usually like to go with, rooftop intersections. I don't know why. I just enjoy them. They've always worked out well for me. They're annoying for people. You can't place the bombs in there. They got to blow them up. It's just more tedious. But right now what I'm showing you is, I know we all hate walls. Walls have less health, and fence foundations are nice. But usually when I do use rooftop intersections, I like to... cat. I like to use... I'm sorry, the cat literally just scared the hell out of me. I like to use regular walls here because the walls on top that are snapped to the ceiling will not drop, and I just think that's more beneficial. You are allowed to use it however you want. You are allowed to use fence foundations if that's what you want. I usually, you know, sometimes what I will do is with the foundation, I will stack the fence foundation on the outside facing them if they're raiding me, and then use fence foundations for that layer, and then walls in the middle to keep the support and stability of ceilings and whatnot. You know, all that fun stuff. And I don't care. Walls don't bother me so much. There's still some protection. They're not as strong as a fence foundation, but as you can see, you know, they do stay with ceilings. And then if you have the ceiling connected to the fence foundation and all the walls, you know, the ceilings have more stability and protection that way, and they'll last a bit longer. That's my experience with it. When I've always done this kind of extra layer on the outside, it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt to climb up. It's a pain to get in. It's you know, you can't place bombs in there. It just, you have to stay on the outside and continue to blow stuff up. So it's just a nice little extra layer. I think I always like adding, and it's also you know, a lazy thing for me. If I don't feel like taking it out 8 layers that day and I just want another layer of protection. Now, here's the other thing I wanted to touch on. What you're seeing on screen right now with this rooftop intersections, that doesn't stop you from stacking. You could consider this another layer in protection. And then with that stacking method in that video that I linked in the beginning, or that maybe some of you have already watched, you could continue stacking out if you wanted to, and then just do the corners like I'm doing in this video. You could have multiple layers of protections. You could add in whatever you want and, you know, get creative with it. I think that's always fun too. I think the real reason I like adding a layer like this on the outside is so when they come up to my wall and punch inside it, they're going to think that that's my stacking, you know, that I might have 2 layers of this and that's it. But then in reality, there's fence foundations behind it, and it's going to take them a lot longer than they expected. So that's basic corner stacking right there. It's not going to stop anyone from raiding you. No base, and we all know this if we play survival games, no base is unraidable unless you're in a meta location that requires a drawbridge and your repair skills are on point because you're a rat. Like me. But that's pretty much it for the video. This is just, you know, I've heard people often ask about corners. How do you wrap it around? It's not that hard at all if you were unfamiliar with it and did not know what you were doing. Maybe this can help you a little bit in the long run. But like I said, I would not suggest using this on official, but if you do play on an unofficial server that allows this, it is definitely going to help your base. My end game goal is to have a base that is fortified to the point where I actually have time to react. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did not know how maybe to wrap corner stacking around or how to use it, now you do, and I hope it helps you however you decide to apply it. I'll say it again. If you are doing this on official, I would advise against it just for your longevity on official. It's up to you though. At the end of the day, I just want to share this with you because these are methods that I use on the servers I play on, and I think it's kind of cool. I like the building and I like being able to share it with you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I mean, I'd hope you are by now, because you know we already had that discussion in the beginning of the video. But if you're not, consider subscribing if you do enjoy Conan content, or maybe you just like me. I don't know why you would like me, but maybe you do. And if you do, you know, subscribe, and I'll be putting out more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.